quite heavy this, so I ain't taking this. Little bit of warmth in that plastic there. Pretty granular. Feels to me like maybe over a kilo of granular plastic here. There are some bits like this have either got through or been broken off and gone into here. So if you put this into a thing, you want some, quite often on shredders they'll have like a grid that it goes through, and it will keep on turning that amount till it shreds, but it won't go through the grid until it has been shredded. Yeah, I rate that as a good success, a very good success actually. So this is basically what I'm going to try using. There's 3 sizes here. So we've got 1/4 inch, 3/8 and 1/2 inch square drives. I want a 1/2 inch. 1/4 inch hex shaft. That's for basically going in some types of drill, which have those in them. Chrome vanadium steel, that's good strong steel. 3-piece hex shank power adapter set. Obviously going to use the 1/2 inch size. So I've got this socket, 6 faces, flat faces. Now when you bind these sockets, so far as I can tell, you measure from face to face, not the diameter of the bolt. This is a 32mm socket. See that? 32mm. And that is from each face to each face. There's 6 faces on this. Some sockets have many more points, but they don't give so much grip, I don't think. But this goes on this M22 bolt I have in here, which has a Keyseat in it. See, that goes on there, fine, no problems there. Tiny bit of looseness, which I want. This has a 1/2 inch sort of socket, square socket, which is ideal for this like adapter shaft I've got. And it does have some indents in here for, like, there's a button, spring loaded button in these extension type shafts, which I'm going to take that out of the way a bit. Pop this on here. It grips on there very well, that's on there. As you see, a little bit looseness there, which is ideal if this is actually a little bit out of line, which it probably is. And then obviously this goes on this bolt head here. Like that. And then I've got 4 bolts to bolt this onto here, and you've got some adjustment there, as you can see, some slots. There's adjustments on this Black & Decker drill I'm using here this way, so you've got some adjustments there. It's just a height that it's very hard to adjust there. So I'll get this bolted on here. I won't be able to do that, I'll have to have this, like, the bolt all the way in. I need to get a nut on here, a locking nut, nylock, 22mm, which I have here. See, that's got a nylon sort of insert, so it won't vibrate loose. That's going to go on the other side of this bolt, which has the Keyseat in it. So this because it's lower, I found that with my plastic connection, the plastic when I was cutting it was rubbing against the connection because it was much wider diameter. This obviously is lower down than the cutting blades, so I can put a wider piece on here if I need to. So there's a Black & Decker drill. Okay, let's get this put together and we'll see how well it goes. Well, I discovered that I actually had the blades on the wrong way around, so I've had to take the top off, like swap them about, put them back on. I've tried to leave a bit of a gap here between this socket and the edge of here, although there is a bearing of this type on each side. I have already given this a spin. Now watch out for your ears. There might be a bit of a rattling noise here because this is slightly loose on the bolt head there. That's a bit of a test. I don't know if you've seen it there, that is almost wobbling a bit, and there seems to be more like what I call heavier vibration when I'm doing this. What I have to watch here is that on the previous system I had, this chuck kept coming loose. Even though it was tightened, fully tightened with a key, see it's got like holes in for a key here. Just going around and tightening it. It was fully tightened, it was still coming loose when I tried the wing nut and my own plastic connection. Now as I say this, if I'm bringing this over this side, as long as I'm not tipping it too far down, it's not going to rub against the connection here. So that is like one advantage with this. This ball is, I've got a washing up ball here underneath to catch any pieces. We'll have to see how the swarf does, because this does have the what I'm calling anti-swarf washers, which go pretty much near the inside edge of those blades there. Right, let's go for it. I'm going to try and see how I do shredding this up. I think it's 35% infill. This was an earlier like trial of a hopper for this. One of the earlier iterations that I've done. I'm just trying to think, is there anything else? Probably come to me. So let's get going. So watch out for your ears. here I've got some of the plastic stuck down the edge here. That's quite stuck. I'll try and get this other bit out. But you see the pretty vicious this when you've got this Black & Decker drill on and this amount of blade free. Let's try and pull that out with these more wrench if I can grip it. This more wrench isn't working too well, to be honest with you. It's well and truly jammed that. Try turning this about a bit, get a little bit better angle. I'm trying to lever this. Well and truly jammed. The only thing I can think of there is actually dismantling this top piece. Maybe this one time. There is like a wear plate on here which takes the brunt of the cutting. And this is also a wear plate, so that those can be printed out quicker. I'll turn the camera off a bit while I try and I'll take this, loosen this off and see if I can get at it. So I've loosened this. Don't worry, the power's off. Yeah, that comes out easily now. Right, let's try and get back to it. I'll tighten this back up. Get back to it, I think. Okay, let's start it back up again. Watch out for your ears. The angle of this might make the video look a bit slanty. Is there anything I can think of? One thing I do think about is if I do have a more straight piece, which I tend to try a bit later, if I tip it down too far, it is going to rub against this, and that might cause problems. That wear plate here doesn't look too bad considering. Let's get plugged in. Did unplug it while I was doing that, obviously. This could do probably emergency stop. I just say that I'm not pressing all that hard here. I'm just holding it on there, well, firm, to make sure it doesn't jump. Now you see it's getting some big, it's almost breaking big chunks off. Getting quite a lot of swarf flying out here. So I'm standing like reasonably to the side of these, so I'm not standing straight in front of how the blades are cutting here. That just there, it's quite thin here. It's just like ripped a piece off and it went, I think it's gone flying over here somewhere, well, easy metre away. I am using what I always call a mole wrench. That's the brand name of this type of hand vise, I think people call them. You can clip them and grip the stuff. This, as I'm pressing down on here, it's banging against this cutting block, as I term it as here. Again, so I can't really cut much more off that. Let's get a different piece. Yep, there I've got one here handy. Now this I did try cutting earlier. See here on this mole wrench, I can adjust the jaws, adjust them so they've got a bit of a grip, and then clip them. What I found is that the blades were always going underneath this, the edge of the blades, but that was when this had much less area to cut in. to move the camera over a little bit to give you a bit different angle of the swarf in between the blades here. So just chewing this up quite well, not too bad. I want the more wrench to come a bit loose there. Well, there is a biggest safety concern here, that as I'm coming from this right hand side here, is that I'm putting my hand over near this chuck and this connection unit I've got on here. This more that's pretty warm, that, well, warm, I wouldn't say pretty warm, but it's warm. Is that loose? No, that thing hasn't come loose using this. Just check, you know, that's still tight. So something to do, I think, which was with the threads on the wing board I had with the connection. So here I would say that you want to be coming from like the left hand side. It's awkward for me to do that here. And be very careful. Really, all this could do with it, like a cage over it, and as I say, emergency stop button. Let's have a look at the, should I cut a bit more? Try and cut a bit more? Yeah, first, before we look at the result. Move this over a little bit. Obviously, likewise on this side, we have to be wary of this. This is a big M22 like nylock nut on this board here. Be careful not to catch our fingers there if we, you know, pushing down there. So there are a couple of safety issues. Obviously, something like this isn't, you know, it's pretty dangerous. Hence, I am using a more wrench to try and keep my hands away. down for lower angle. Again, to a certain extent, this mole wrench is banging against this, what I term as a cutting block here, and I can't like hold it down much lower than what it's going now. I want to try one more. This is the old connection I had. I had a wing bolt in here with the two wings going in, well, one wing going in the slot, another wing going in the other slot, and that would go into the chuck here, and there was 3 grooves cut in the bolt for the jaws, and then the nut head would fit on here. But this one actually snapped in half while I was using it. Look at my other videos, you'll see that. Let's try this. You can see the infill there, 35% say, I think there, pretty sure. PLA, it's all PLA here, 0.2 layer height by the way. Again, I'm going to stop there because I'm getting a bit close to the mole wrench and to this cutting block with the mole wrench. It's cutting up that reasonably well. Some bits are flying off again. Now, I was thinking about, I have thought multiple times that with a hop head that's going to restrict the area of the part you can put in there. I think that's enough to demonstrate it. Let's film. So this is a Black & Decker drill I am using here. I'm going to zoom out. 2-speed, but I would say, technically speaking, this is a bit of a fake. Just a second while I unplug this, make sure I've got this unplugged first. The 2-speed is a trick. All it is really a diode that you can switch in and out. It's when you're switching it in a way, it's chopping off half of the AC, and that reduces the speed, but it's also going to reduce the torque, the turning force of the drill. Now with some Black & Decker drills, I know they do actually have a gearbox in. This does have gears in, but actually have a gearbox for the 2 speeds. Now those would increase the torque when you lower the speed. This is slightly warm. There is a fan on here. This socket is warm. I can feel the warmth there. Careful here, these blades are sharp, don't worry, it's unplugged. This chuck is warm, and that ring there, what was coming loose, that was coming loose, is pretty still solid. Let's have a look at the, careful not to knock it over. Quite heavy this, so I ain't taking this. little bit of warmth in that plastic there. Pretty granular. Feels to me like maybe over a kilo of granular plastic here. There are some bits like this have either got through or been broken off and gone into here. So if you put this into a thing, you want some, quite often on shredders they'll have like a grid that it goes through, and it'll keep on turning that amount till it shreds, but it won't go through the grid until it has been shredded. Yeah, I rate that as a good success, a very good success actually. Just putting this back up here. Now there are those safety concerns, is that if you're moving a part here, you're likely to, because you're concentrating on the blades, the cutting, if you're doing it by hand, you're likely to move it down like this. Well, you might move it down like this, then your hand's in the fast turning chuck. I think this is 3000 RPM. I've got on the fastest speed on this 2-speed drill. Likewise with the nut there, you might catch your hand in that. Obviously the cutting blades are dangerous, and the swarf flying out is dangerous. And sometimes it is catching a bit and breaking it off, as hopefully you've seen there. And those can fly out quite far. So these are a couple of the issues with this. But basically I'm happy with that as it is. So some sort of cage over there, possibly something over here. Emergency stop switch. You probably wouldn't be using a Black & Decker drill like I am here. Let's show you the bore again. And I promise you I am not faking this. This bore was totally empty when I started. Even wiped it round with a cloth. You see it is pretty granular. Most of it, as I said, there are some bits of stuff either gone through or got through somehow, or broken off and fallen through, but not too many. Feels a bit dusty this. So that's in that length of time there. I wasn't pressing too hard, just trying to control the plastic on here. Yeah, well, I'm going to have to think about, you know, like the safety, particularly of this area here. This is a major concern. Even if you had not a Black & Decker, if you had like, I think this is 500 watt. If you had, say, a 500 watt electric motor here, you'd have to have some sort of safety in there. Right, that's enough waffle. So I'm going to put this on the front of the video as well. So this is the results. I'm not sure how long I've been doing this. It feels like half an hour maybe. Good results. There are some bigger bits in it. I'll just show you, finish off this part by showing you underneath. So there is still a bit of swarf getting between those blades, even with these like anti-swarf washers I've 3D printed out there. But I think that's better than what it was. Let's feel. No, just normal warmth. See, there is a bit of dust here, plastic dust. This is just an old piece of wooden shelf. I've had to grip the heads while I tighten up the balls. Okay. Just want to zoom in as was termed as a wear plate. This is printed out at 100% just PLA here, and it's not looking too bad considering the amount of chewing away and banging it's had. with these blades spinning round and maybe catch bits of plastic in there. That's looking reasonably well. So that I've just bolted that on with 4 countersunk bolts there, and you can remove this and put a new one in. Quite a quick print instead of printing out the whole thing. Same with this plate here. Treat this as a wear plate, but this probably doesn't take like the wear that this does.